Welcome to the Laser Channel. I'm your host Greg, and in this video I'll be taking a look at the Atomstack F1 Honeycomb system with integrated T-slot rails on the top and bottom. This Atomstack F1 Honeycomb package really has me intrigued. Just when I thought that honeycomb was just a basic frame with this labyrinth of honeycomb, I thought it was just very straightforward and basic, and there's not much that you could do beyond that. But then I run across this particular model, the F series, and they have an integrated rail on both sides that accepts a clamp system to hold your work down flat and securely during engraving and cutting. And I find this very helpful, as oftentimes I have some materials that will not hold down with the little T-pins that go into the honeycomb or with the magnets that I use. Inside the package that the F1 Honeycomb comes in is this leaflet that has all the instructions and features needed to set up and use the honeycomb. There's also the 4 clamp bars. These are made out of steel, they're very durable, and they came clean and dry. There's no packing oil to clean off of these. There's also a parts bag number 1 that contains the feet that go underneath the honeycomb and several colored magnets to go on the top, and this surface is magnetic to help hold down some of your thinner materials. I do a lot of paperwork and cutout, and these magnets work great. There's also some little stops that go in the ends of the T-slot to keep the clamps in place from sliding off the end, and also to protect your hands from catching on any edges that might be a little bit sharp. There's also a parts bag number 2 that contains the actual clamps, and again, these pieces are clean and free of any packing oil. The last thing that's in the package is this piece of 304 stainless steel that goes underneath the honeycomb to catch any debris that comes through, and it also protects your spoiler board. This particular spoiler board that I've had on my channel now, this is about 6 months old, and there's not a laser mark on it because each time I do a project, I make sure that I have this protective board underneath it or one very similar to it, and it keeps this spoiler board lasting a very long time because construction materials right now are at an all-time high. Anything I can do to help maintain the costs on my projects is certainly welcomed. Setting up the Atomstack Honeycomb for the first time use is fast and easy. Starting out by flipping the honeycomb over so that the bottom is facing up, I'll take the first foot pad and remove the liner and place that down in each of the corners. With this easy step completed, I can now flip the unit back over. These legs allow for any smoke to pass through the bottom, and this is one of the main reasons why we use honeycomb on our projects, particularly when we're cutting paper, acrylic, or wood, is that that smoke that passes through would have normally stained the bottom side of our work, but with the honeycomb it's now able to pass through. The next step is to place the clamps in the integrated T-track rail system. And these easily slide in from either end. Once the clamp bolts are installed, there's these handy little bumper pieces, and there's a tab on one side. That tab faces up and accepts this T-track portion. I really like these T-track bumpers that Atomstack includes with this honeycomb kit. They install easily, and they prevent the clamps from sliding all the way off the end, and they also protect the corners that might be a little bit sharp from catching on any clothing or hands or fingers. The final step is to install the clamp bars. These wing nuts on these fasteners spin off very freely. And installation is really this easy. We can go around and do that on each of these. Here's a board I picked up at the craft store the other week. When I picked it up, I thought it was flat, but now that I have it on my perfectly flat honeycomb, I find when I get to the last clamp that the board is not flat. So the really neat thing, and this is what I love about this honeycomb system, is with this last clamp, that board is now flat as the honeycomb. The last step before using the honeycomb is to place this 304 stainless steel shield underneath the honeycomb. Again, this will keep any of the laser rays that pass through the honeycomb from marking up our spoiler board, along with when cutting and engraving wood, that any of that smoke residue that is pushed through the honeycomb will collect on this piece of sheet metal for easy cleaning at a later date. Atomstack offers this version of honeycomb in two different sizes. I have the smaller F1 version that has an x-axis of about 210 millimeters on the scale, and on the x-axis 330 millimeters. And for myself, I do a lot of single smaller pieces, and this size works perfectly for me. When I'm not using this, it also stores very neat. Some of the larger honeycombs, while nice, when not in use, they do take up more space. Atomstack does offer an F2 version that is much larger than this. I'll have the dimensions up in the corner on the F2 version. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it useful, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. Doing any number of those things really helps this channel grow and helps connect content like this with viewers like you. Until next time, have fun, be safe, and most of all, be creative.